Welcome back to the Dylan Shea channel. Today, well, let me just move that back. We are doing a tier list video, my first tier list on this channel, on the 20 Premier League managers. Should be quite interesting. I haven't actually fully planned any of this out, so sort of just, going along with it. The 5 tiers that we have are number 1, so who I think the best manager is in the Premier League. Elite, so you're close to number 1 and you are a very, very good world-class manager, elite, obviously, manager, but you're not just quite number 1. Impressive, a manager who I find impressive, sort of in that middle ground, think he has a lot of potential, or I just think you're a solid Premier League manager, basically. And then you have okay, I guess, which is, he's alright, he's okay. He's an okay manager, could do better. Would I want him at Spurs? Probably not, if you're in this one. Sacked worthy. This is a manager who's either their talent and skill, they shouldn't be at the club that they're at. They're overachieving. Or I don't think they're performing well enough and they should get the boot. So, I think we won't start, we'll do a random order. I won't be looking at the screen as much because obviously I have to look at this. But we will start with Frank Lampard. Now, Frank Lampard, for me, did really well at Chelsea. I thought there was a game against Man City where his team completely went toe-to-toe with Pep's Man City, went in their pomp as well in 2018 or 19. I think it might have been 19 actually. And I think he's a good manager. I actually do. I think he is a good manager. I thought he did a good job at Chelsea. I've started with a tough one here because he's come to Everton. It's a bad side. He's struggled. So I'm going to go with... What I don't like about him is the way he doesn't take any blame. And he puts it on his players. Don't know whether he's learned from that at Chelsea, so I'm going to go here for now. He's okay. I think he's an okay Premier League manager. I say at times he's been impressive. I found it impressive the way he changed the style at Everton last year. He was trying to play really good football at Everton, but they don't have the players. But he learnt, he adapted, played more what you would call Brexit football, sort of, and helped them stay up, had an impressive home record. I think that's more on the fans than the manager, so we're going to put him in okay, I guess. I don't want this to be an hour-long video, so I'm not going to try and take ages on every single one. Next up, Eddie Howe. Now, Eddie Howe is... I nearly did a video on Eddie Howe, saying how good I think he is. I think he's very underrated. Don't think he gets the props he deserves. He did a very good job at Burnley, got them promoted twice. Very good at, to finish 9th in the Premier League with Bournemouth is elite. That is sort of very good, isn't it? And then to come into Newcastle and do the job that he's done. But there's some managers in this elite. I think we know probably a few that will be in there. Is he on that level? I'm going to put him impressive. What he does at Newcastle determines whether he goes here or not. Because he will have the funds. He has the fan base, he has the size of the club to do everything he needs to do. It's just whether, he has the managerial skills to take Newcastle to a good enough level. I'm going to put him there for now. Let's go Jesse Marsch. I don't know loads about Jesse Marsch, to be honest. I think he's an okay manager. Where do I think Jesse Marsch should go? I think Jesse Marsch, he's done better than what Bielsa was doing at Leeds. But is that just a manager bounce? I'm not sure. Leeds is a massive club, let's not forget that. But they ain't a very good team. I think he will eventually be sacked. I do. I think he will. That might be controversial. I don't know loads about Jesse Marsch, I won't lie. I think eventually, though, he will be sacked. Let's just go with that. He has done better than Bielsa last season anyway. Marco Silva, Fulham. Didn't work at Watford. Didn't work at Everton, but those are two terribly run clubs. I mean, wasn't he in the battle for relegation with Everton at some point as well? Fulham come in, done a great job, absolutely smashed the Championship. Team was obviously great, but he's the best manager that's got the best out of those players so far. I think he's okay. I think he's an okay manager. I don't think he'll be sacked this year. I think Fulham will stay up, in my opinion. I said it in my predictions, which you should watch. So I'll put him in okay, I guess. I think he's an okay manager. Next up, we'll go with Brendan Rodgers. We'll go with Brendan Rodgers. Now, where do I think Brendan Rodgers is? Because he's a very controversial character. He really is. I think some people would have him here. I think some people would have him here. I think some people would have him here. And I think a few would have him here. Where am I in here? I think Brendan Rodgers is an elite manager. I really do. To go unbeaten at Celtic, a title charge with Liverpool for their first time in years, nearly won the league with them, apart from a few mistakes. You know, Gerrard slipping isn't Brendan Rodgers' fault, is it? You know, he made mistakes along the way, sure, but you know, every single manager makes mistakes, and I think the players in that Liverpool collapse have to take more blame for me than Brendan Rodgers. Celtic, unbeaten, unbelievable achievement. I know some people say it's the Scottish League, but it doesn't happen regularly. I mean, I know it happened with Rangers last year, but it doesn't happen often. And he's come into Leicester. He's done a great job. Let's not forget where Leicester were, by the way, under Claude Puel. You know, there was only one trajectory for them, and he came in. He's made them a Champions League battle inside. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the Community Shield. I think he's been very unlucky with injuries, so I think he's an elite manager. I really do. I think if he's a Portuguese manager, I think people have so much more respect for him. Let's go Steven Gerrard next. Steven Gerrard obviously did a great job at Rangers. But you know what? I don't think he's ready for this. Or do I? Well, he has a great pull when it comes to getting players in. You know, we've seen Coutinho, we've seen Danny Ings, we've seen Kamara. I'm going to go Sackworthy. I think he will be sacked at some point by Aston Villa. Or do I? No, I think he's an okay. Actually, I'm going to change it to an okay, I guess. Because the job he did at Rangers was fantastic, wasn't it? So I think we have to pay a bit more respect to that. To go unbeaten, like I said, with Brendan Rodgers is not easy. Hasn't delivered at Villa though. I mean, he has a worse record at Villa than Gary Neville had at Valencia. So yeah, just Steven Gerrard, okay, I guess. Let's go with Steve Cooper. Where is Steve Cooper? Because he obviously did a very good job at Swansea, got them to the playoff final, brought in a few very good players. Has done the same at Nottingham Forest, but this time got promoted, won the playoff final, and they've won one, lost one in the Premier League. I think at home they'll be okay. I think away from home is where they will struggle. I think Steve Cooper, at this moment in time, I think he's been an impressive manager, but he's not done as much as Eddie Howe in the game, has he? I'm going to go, I think he's an impressive manager. You know, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You know, the Championship doesn't get enough recognition, doesn't get enough praise, and I think he's done a very good job there. Two different teams now. I don't know about his managerial career before that, to be honest, but the last few years, he's really impressed me. He plays good football. And yeah, I like him. I like Steve Cooper. Graham Potter. Now, where does Graham Potter belong? Now, by the way, this managerial selection that we have in the Premier League, look at these names. I mean, this is by far the best era of Premier League managers of all time. It's been solid for years, but this season It's been incredible. Let's go with Graham Potter. I think he's either in one of these two. I think he's definitely going to get a top 6 move one day. The job he's done at Brighton, I mean, they have more XG than nearly every team they play. I'm going to go elite. I don't think you have to be a big club to be an elite manager. I think some people would say, oh, he's a Brighton manager, therefore he can only be impressive. That's not true. You look at the job he did at Östersund. He beat Arsenal in the Europa League, a Premier League side, and has now come to Brighton, done a fantastic job. Didn't they finish 9th last year? So impressive. So I'm going to go elite for Graham Potter. Let's go Bruno Lage. Is this the most boring manager in the league? Probably. Where do I think? I don't think he's sacked worthy because they finished 8th last year. You know, good defensively. But I think he's okay, I guess, for now. I don't think he hasn't impressed me. He's definitely not elite either, but he's not sacked worthy. So I think he'll be okay, I guess. David Moyes. Where does David Moyes rank? I think David Moyes is an impressive manager. Now, I'm noticing that Steve Cooper looks a little bit out of place here, but I'm going to stick with it. Okay? David Moyes, for me, was manager of the year last season, without a doubt. Jurgen Klopp finished 2nd and won the manager player of the year. How? I have no idea. I get he was going for the quadruple, but he didn't even win 2 of the trophies anyway. And David Moyes, to fight on the Champions League front. If West Ham do not have Europa League, they get Champions League. They were better than Spurs consistently throughout the season, consistently better than Man United, and better than Arsenal as well. Fantastic manager, and got to the Europa League semi-final, sorry. Who do we go with next? Let's go with Ralph Hasenhüttl. Now, Ralph Hasenhüttl is probably the most yo-yo one out of every single manager here. There's been times where I think he's impressive. There's been times where he's sacked worthy. It will probably happen this season. He's already in this sacked worthy sort of bracket right now. And you know what? I'm going to put him there. I think he will be sacked. I think he's a good manager. He's been there for a while. But I think he will be sacked. He's been there for too long, I think. I think Southampton need a freshener. And I think his team defensively are a shambles at times, Southampton. They really are. So he's going to have to go in sacked worthy. Let's go with Patrick Vieira next. Now, Patrick Vieira, I think when he came in, most people thought he would be in here, sacked worthy. I think after a while, maybe here. But for me, from the get-go, to turn Crystal Palace around, he has to go into impressive for me. I think he's a very, very impressive manager. When he got the move, when he came in, I thought, I wasn't sure, I don't know too much about him. But straight from the get-go, I think you could tell his Crystal Palace are different to any other Crystal Palace side that we've seen, really. I've seen in my lifetime. I think some of the players he's brought through, the attacking football he plays, the high press, and he has that tactical nous to go away to an Anfield and set up in a 5-4-1 and nearly nick a win, So, yeah, I think he's impressive. I really like Patrick Vieira, and I think he speaks well as well in his interviews. Let's go with Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is elite. He's definitely elite. I've seen a lot of people say they think he'll get sacked this season. He's probably he's been the Chelsea manager probably in my lifetime that's been there the longest, which shows how good you have to be. Won a Champions League, nearly won 2 other domestic trophies as well, lost on penalties. I think he could have done better in a few situations. The Lukaku situation, I think he could have got more out of him. I think he sort of gave up on him, but at the same time, you're like, well, he did want to leave, and what he said in that interview was unacceptable. Yeah, a manager I rate extremely highly, and he's extremely tactical. You look at the game against Tottenham just recently, how he set up, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, putting him in that midfield, making it a 4 versus 2 in there. I think he's fantastic, and then changed it to a 3 whilst Spurs went to a 4 to overload the wide areas. Yeah, a brilliant manager, tactically one of the best in the world. And yeah, I hope he leaves Chelsea because he's a bit good. Let's go with Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. Now, Erik ten Hag is a manager that I wouldn't put in here yet. His Ajax team were brilliant. I've said it on one of my videos that I'm a Spurs fan, and that Ajax team is one of the best I've seen Spurs play. So I'm gonna have to go. His time at Man United hasn't gone well so far, but he is an impressive manager, isn't he? So I'm gonna have to put him there. Or is he okay? He's not okay, is he? Is he impressive? He's done it in the Eredivisie, however you say it. I'm gonna put impressive for now. I'm going to put him in impressive, because he did do a very good job there. And he got the best out of players like Van der Beek, Ziyech, De Jong, De Ligt, Sebastian Haller. You look at all these players who he's got the best out of. They haven't done that since leaving him. So, he's obviously doing something right. Let's go with Antonio Conte, my manager. Love the guy. I absolutely love him. The moment he was announced as Spurs manager, I couldn't believe it. Definitely elite. I will put them in order. I'll put him there. I'll put Tuchel. I think he's a bit better than Tuchel. He's just done more in his career. You look at, he went to Juventus were they in Serie B? When he went there, won the league with them, then ended that 10-year run with Inter Milan, won a title there, went to Chelsea, won the Premier League, won an FA Cup. Now he's come to Spurs, completely changed the club. I mean, it was so depressing under Nuno. And he's just completely changed the culture, really, of Spurs. And I thank him for it. So thank you, Antonio Conte. I love you. I think Brendan Rodgers, for now, is ahead of Graham Potter. In terms of this, I will go... There. For here, I will go Marco Silva. I will go Steven Gerrard. I'll go Bruno Lage, and I'll go Frank Lampard, and I'll go Hasenhuttl and Jesse Marsch. Okay, so I've sorted them out a little bit in order so far. I will add Scott Parker to the list though, and Scott Parker for me is an impressive manager. I think he's done a bit more than than Graham Potter. Than Steve Cooper. Yeah, I like him. Obviously, his Fulham side were bad. They scored. They won 5 games all year. Not good enough. Did get relegated, but he has been promoted twice to the Premier League, which shows he has something. And his Bournemouth side, they've won a game. They've lost a game away to the Etihad as well. I mean, that happens. Yeah, I like him. Every time I've seen him give a team talk or one of his very long speeches, they sound like you want to play for him, and obviously his players do, because they're getting results. I do rate him. I think he's an impressive manager. Let's go Thomas Frank. To be frank, I think he's a okay manager. I don't think he's sacked. Oh, I do. I think he's going to be sacked this year. I do. But he's not sacked really because of the job he's done at Brentford. So I'll put him at okay. I think he's an okay manager. I think he probably will get sacked this year, but just for the job he's done at Brentford, I'll put him in okay. Getting to the Premier League for the first time in their history is obviously massive. So I'll keep him there, even though I think Brentford will fall off at some point this season, and he'll be in there eventually. So we'll put him in okay. Mikel Arteta. Ooh. Mikel Arteta is a manager who has been here, a bit like Brendan Rodgers. Here, probably here, and some deluded Arsenal fans, maybe Ty, might think he's here. So we'll go... He's been impressive at times. This year he's looked good. He's got his team playing really, really well, some of the best football in the league. But I'm going to have to put him there. I'm going to have to put Mikel Arteta in okay, because as there have been times where I've been impressed, like the FA Cup final. Does he win that without Aubameyang? No, but they were brilliant. You know, you can only do what you've got, and you know, if we play that by that rule, then Zidane's a terrible manager, Mourinho's a terrible manager, Pep's a terrible manager, right? So I can't really say that because it's quite unfair. But there have been times, you know, at Anfield, why are you firing up the crowd? Why are you starting a fight with Jurgen Klopp? Some of his decisions, I think, have just been odd and have let the team down at times, but he's young, he's inexperienced, and I think he will improve. There's been times where I think he's impressive. Not elite, impressive, but for now, as an overall manager, I think he's okay. Now, who is my number one manager? Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola? I'm going with Pep Guardiola. Now, Pep Guardiola, for me, has a case for the best manager ever. The football that his teams play are exceptional. He's managed the best team of all time. And you can say, well, he had the players, but if he's not managing them, they're not the best team of all time. They're a very good team. He is what makes them the best of all time. The way they played football, their passing, just their control of games, their domination, the embarrassment of other teams. You look at Man United, Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United. Pep is a genius. And what I would like him to do in his career, I would like him one day to take over someone a little lower. I would like to see it, to see what he can do. I think that's the next step in his career. Like, the best managers get the best jobs, right? But surely he gets a bit bored if he takes over Newcastle in 4 years and wins 5 leagues in a row. He takes over Juventus and wins 3 Serie A's in a row. Like, it's a great achievement. I'm not taking that away from him, but you've done it so many times. Don't you want to try and just, get a team from here to here? A bit like Klopp did with Liverpool, despite spending, yes, a lot of money, but with great management skills. Only he could have taken that Liverpool team from here to here. Speaking of Jurgen Klopp, let's put him in elite, but let's not put him at the back. Let's put him at the front, because he is the second best manager, not just in the league, in the world, along with managers like Ancelotti, of course, Conte, Tuchel. I think those 4 are separated in the Premier League. The other two, I think they're elite. I just think they're a little bit, there is a bit of a gap from these 4. Jurgen Klopp is another genius. The way he motivates his players to keep on going and going and going is exceptional. His signings, every single one of them work, which just shows how good of a manager he is. Minamino, Shaqiri, Jota. Who thought Jota would be the player he is? Salah. I remember the moment Salah got signed from Liverpool. I was like, what? 35 million, that's quite expensive. That is a bargain now. Even players like Tsimikas, he's made Jordan Henderson a Premier League great. A fantastic manager. But Pep Guardiola, for me, is the best in the Premier League. And let me know if there's anyone you would change from this list. I know there are a few controversial ones. Arteta, Steve Cooper, Jesse Marsch, definitely. So let me know. Let me know who you would change. Which is the biggest one I've messed up. And if you have enjoyed, like the video, subscribe if you want more videos, and thank you for watching.